Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amir Elbaz, and I'm the CEO of BE Networks. And with me, I have my esteemed colleagues.
Hi, my name is Jens Riemer. I'm head of global IT infrastructure for Thyssenkrupp Materials Services.
Hello, my name is Marco Decker. I'm head of software-defined network of Thyssenkrupp Materials.
Yes, so we're going to talk to you about migration and how OCP can make impact, I call it, on real companies, industrial companies, things like that, this innovation that everybody's meeting here can make impact on all our lives, even if you work for Thyssenkrupp, and they'll tell you about them in a minute or so. Let me tell you about BE Networks. We are an intent-based company, a networking company that does orchestration for large fabrics of switches. And we have been working with the OCP designs for many, many years and help companies like TK and many others migrate. We're based in the United States, been around for a while, and we're all about migration. So great developments cannot be rip and replace. They need to be introduced to operations and integrate with existing networks.
So for Thyssenkrupp, you probably have heard the name Thyssenkrupp before, maybe not Thyssenkrupp Materials Services, but actually this part is the biggest materials trader and distributor within the Western Hemisphere. So we have approximately 16,000 employees all around the world. And we do a lot in supply chain business, which is why it's also very critical for us to have top networks that are running all the time, because we also deliver in time and just in sequence in some parts, for example, in the automotive industries and also in the aerospace business. So talking about complexity in networks, we have roughly 380 locations all around the globe. Which look very different. So we have very big sites, but also some small and older sites. So the network used to be very heterogeneous.
So, Marco, it's late 2019. You get a dreaded message of end of life, end of support from your current supplier. It's just kind of like hearing rumbles that things are coming from the east about some things, disruption in supply chain. I remember it was like COVID-19 was just a headache for us. How are we going to get the supply from China? That's it, But you had some major challenges, and you need to decide what to do next. So, what are your thoughts? What are your plans on to tackle that point of the end of life and support?
Yeah. So like Jens already mentioned, we have many sites around the world, and the sites need connectivity. We have machines, we have employees that need connectivity. And we was in a situation that we need to take a look about the modernization of the network. And we was thinking about what we can do to achieve the situation. Also in this time of COVID, it was not possible to sending around so much people who could taking care about the sites. The distance between the people was needed to taking care about. So we wanted, and we did, that we was looking for a new approach. And we needed to get a modernization of our network as fast as possible, but also set the business into the situation that they continue with the existing hardware that they have at the moment. So we don't want something like a big bang for the business. Okay, you have to transfer now all your hardware to a new level. You have to buy new hardware. So we wanted to have a situation that we can use the old hardware that we have, but also step by step going to newer hardware and have an orchestration platform to manage the old and the new systems together.
So the first step when you come to this process of migration is actually realizing what you have and taking control of what you have so you can make a plan onto this migration. It's a path, and you need to know where you start. You not necessarily know where you're going to end, but you definitely need to know where you start. So I think, as Marco said, having So TK is 100, as Jens said, TK is a 150-year-old company. A lot of investment in IT. You depend on it. You grew to depend on it. But what were you thinking maybe to do differently based on your challenges you had in the past?
Yeah. So basically, like I said before, so the approach was we need a modernization of the network, and we want to do it with at least not so much people that we did in the past. So we have a very limited team to do the job, and we were thinking about what we can do to bring the systems in a platform where we can manage all. And from the first moment, the topic zero-touch provisioning was very important for us. So that when we onboarding the old systems, they need to be maintained by an existing team. We cannot rise the amount of people. But also when we have to take a look at the new hardware, we have to see how we can get them in place. So we don't have a big technical team where we can send all the hardware, the guys sitting there doing configurations, then we're sending them out to Spain, to Ireland, to whatever place in Europe or East Europe. So we needed to find a way to get everything in place and monetize with less effort as possible. Yeah? And for this, BeyondEdge Networks was helping us with their systems. Yeah, we first was onboarding all what we have and old stuff and old hardware. And later when we had everything in the system, it was really, really easy to exchange the existing hardware with new hardware. So done in a great manner.
So Kate said the concept of twinning. So you have a lot of switches deployed. Each one has a configuration, and over the years, what's called the technical debt. And you start to get the drift between what your records say and what actually deployment. So this drifting over the years start to be very problematic. So for us, on the first day was actually go to those switches, inquire them, all automatically, of course, not humans doing that, and then build a digital twin of your network. Well, that digital twin is then the base of disaggregating the software from the hardware. That's the first step that we had to take. And then later on, the plan was to integrate the OCP hardware for many, many reasons. One of them, he talked about the Verity, because you can basically deploy it everywhere, went through a lot of standards. Those hardware are known in, whether you deploy it in Brazil, they had the Anatel, where you have everywhere you got those certifications. So that was a key. So, Marco, when you looked at this migration, and you call it SDNet, right, software-defined network, what were the best scenario you can achieve from you when you went to that journey, and you knew it's a monumental task? You mentioned, Jens mentioned 380 locations worldwide, 6 or 7 continents. Right now, I think we are at almost 216 different countries. Mentality, even though there are policies, try to get that diversity under the same policy. So what was the best scenario when you went to that journey and, in your mind?
Yeah, so it was that way that we took what we had and we was implementing it into the orchestration management platform. So you and your team was helping us to discover what we have. Bring everything into the controller. So we didn't touch the existing configuration that we have in place. We onboarded everything, and we did it with just a few people and with a big support of your side, and did it without any business impact. So the business was never in this process realizing that something happened. Everything, the complete onboarding process was happening in the background, and business was continuing without any kind of interruption in this form. And this was from the first moment very important for us. So when we implement all the systems that we have, we modernize it, we need the business continuous working. So we cannot stop that the business stop for a week or 3 days or 2 days, because the business needs to go on. And this is what is expected from the business to us as a managed service operator internally at Thyssenkrupp. that we taking care that everything is going on, and we was able to achieve this in a very, very good way.
And you can imagine that not everyone was convinced from the first moment on. So actually, there were people telling us, "Oh God, what are you doing there? Yeah, maybe you will break our networks. What will happen?" But actually, the team or the teams they did an awesome job. And really, in the end, the outcome surpassed our expectations. And now also the skeptics we managed to convince, and we really see now the benefits.
So a lot of time people talk about saving, et cetera, but the essence of it, you need a network for the network. It's not about saving money. It's not about innovation. Companies need it on the shipping and receiving dock, because this is material coming in, material coming out. When you're a 14 billion euro company, there's a lot of shipping, a lot of things. People rely on your supply chains, et cetera. So you might have, SLA type, where you're late, you cause damages, you might have to pay those. So as Marco said, having a minimal impact on the network was the key thing. Because you have the incumbent, they know they got you, and you have to pay always the ransom, basically, like, hey, and then they get the end of life, end of support that you have to upgrade. But that upgrade requires a lot of time, rip and replace. You don't have that luxury of taking your networks for days, even if it's a holiday, because it's not a holiday somewhere else. If you're a global company, you're working 365 days a year. There's no downtime as a global company. So Jens, migration is a very interesting journey. Why? You can see up until the next bend, right? Beyond the next bend, you cannot see until you get there. And looking at this journey that you have, 4 years now, and integrating and bringing new networks, et cetera, what would you say is the, some of the unplanned outcome, or some of the things that, unplanned benefit that came as a result from that migration journey?
Yeah, excellent point, Amir. So except from all the technical stuff, what we also saw is that we, by moving forward with modern technologies, we are also enabled to better attract talents and keep them. Because actually what we can do now is we can include less experienced team members to do some jobs that you otherwise would maybe leave to the more advanced team members, because actually they cannot really break anything. They don't have the possibility to ruin your whole network. And they also see that they can actually see modern infrastructure tools in practice, not just in theory. So that also makes us more attractive as an employer. Plus, we have the benefit of achieving at least the same, but now we achieved even more with comparable team size. And this is also something what you have to think about from a global perspective. We are very present with our IT teams in the US and in India. So apart from Germany, we try to draw from 3 different job markets, but still, even being a global player, even drawing from different job markets, it is always a challenge to get and retain the right people. So this also helps us to overcome these difficulties a little bit. Plus, we can show, even as a 150-year-old company, that we still try to innovate again and again. So, and that is really something that was quite exciting.
Right. So just a recap to show you the enormity of the task it took. So they have, right now, 16 countries, 180 sites, more than 1,000 switches, variety. Most of the switches were a specific vendor, but there were some multi-vendor elements, depends on the countries. And the idea is to have a consistent network source of truth for everything. Network source of truth is a key element in our technology. We believe that there should be only one place that can oversee and push policies, and then have multiple users, different, as Ian said, different, authorities to do damage. Most of networks go down because of human error. Almost 3/4 of outages, human error. No offense to the humans around. So the idea with TK was a global LAN visualization, modernization, all managed. It's hosted AWS, so they have the tool. They hosted AWS, and they manage all these sites as one global LAN with 180, locations. So Jens, like when you look at the results after all those years, what do you see?
I see something that made our financial department very happy. So actually, we had huge savings, approximately 60% reduction in CapEx by using OCP designs here, also reduction in OpEx. And also from a security perspective, it is something that I would like to see. I actually, past few years, I also worked as CISO for TK Materials Services. And also one thing that you want to implement is automation. So to reduce this human error effect and also to reduce the attack surface.
So call for action, I'll do it quick. Our call for action is having regular companies, businesses, participate in advising OCP. As vendors, sometimes we develop something that we think really cool, but there's no industry application for that. We need companies more like TK and guiding the OCP, develop what they need. So, now Wi-Fi 7, we do this, how much PoE, but we need guidance from the industry. I call for the industrial companies, the higher ed, all these organizations that can help us build a better product for what you need. That's it. We're done. I don't know if we have time for questions. Oh, no questions. You can find us. We're around. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.